Welcome to North Country Commerce, a business and community service of the Plattsburgh North Country Chamber of Commerce. I'm Gary Douglas, president of the Chamber, and we use this program every couple of weeks to bring you an episode that focuses on something of interest here in the North Country, particularly of interest to the business community, but sometimes just plain of interest to everyone in the North Country, and that's what this is really all about. It's summertime. It's easy to forget now in the sun, or mostly rain, of this summer, all of the ice and snow back in January, and the fact that we had that disaster, although recently now it was flood disasters. I guess the ice is melting, and now we're having floods instead of ice. But we had that really tremendous story back last January, both in terms of the damage and the tragic impact that it had on the North Country in many ways, but then also the whole upside of it, just the tremendous human effort that came to bear in response to that, and getting the repairs made and taking care of people and coming together and getting the job done under very difficult circumstances. And no company or organization certainly stands out anymore. Although there's certainly many of them out there that did Herculean efforts in many ways, but none more than New York State Electric and Gas, which was faced with a disaster of enormous proportions in terms of the impact on power lines and all of its facilities, and needing to respond to that. Really something I'm sure nobody could really quite be really prepared for, because it was so unprecedented. Yet they did a tremendous job of it. They've produced a 20-minute video that really tells that whole story, and in a very dramatic and visual way really reminds us and shows us all the dimensions of the damage that was done and what it took to respond to that. And before we come to that video, I'm happy to have with us Bob Perkins from NYSEG, who's going to give us a little introduction to the video and a little update really on the whole story that goes behind this. Bob.
Thank you, Gary, very much. I'd like to start today by thanking everyone for all of the support they gave NYSEG on behalf of all of our employees during the ice storm, and also for the hospitality that everyone showed our out-of-town guests that came to help out on the recovery. Many of those linemen that came to visit will be back because you touched their hearts with your generosity and your sense of caring. The ice storm, which we coined Operation Iceberg, lasted 19 days and affected 31,000 of our customers. And to put that in perspective, we only have 38,000 customers here in the Plattsburgh division. And although the ice storm is now over and behind us, and NYSEG, as Gary mentioned, worked with many different community activities to overcome that, I think we can all look back and take pride on how this whole North Country came together to overcome that monumental task that lay before us. For NYSEG, it was the biggest challenge we've ever had to face, to rebuild our distribution system, much of it that was totally destroyed by the ice storm. We had over 1,824 miles of distribution line that was affected by the ice storm. You note here, 19 days to Albuquerque. That 1,824 miles is the distance from Plattsburgh to Albuquerque, New Mexico. And that's what we had to repair to get our facilities back in order. To give you some idea of what was taking place and what caused this from a weather standpoint, this chart here gives an indication. The yellow is an indication of the rain that fell, and the orange is the snow that took place during that 19 days. As you can see, some areas would see over 5 inches of rain that would fall, with temperatures varying between 26 and 32 degrees. As far as snow, we would see over 24 inches of snowfall. Here, as we'll get into a different chart, you can see how this snowfall affected our recovery in this area. In addition to the snowfall, the temperatures stayed below freezing for much of that time period. This orange is an indication of the daily high, and the yellow an indication of the daily low. And as you can see with 30 degrees noted here, that most of the temperature was below freezing, dropping down to below 10 degrees at some time. This, combined with the high wind and the rain, made for some very, very difficult working conditions. How do you rebuild service to 37,000 customers in 19 days when you have over 1,800 miles of distribution line laying on the ground? Which we did is we counted on mutual aid from other utilities. And that's what this chart shows. We had over 1,500 people that came to help out on the restoration effort. People that came from utilities as far away as New York City, New Jersey, and Ohio. This line here, this red line, indicates the NYSEG local employees, 127 employees. So it gives you a good idea of what type of support we had to restore the power. This last chart is an indication of our restoration effort. As you can see, getting into the second day, we were at 31,000 customers that were out of power. We were losing ground pretty rapidly at this point. And then we started to make some really good progress. During this period, we were rebuilding our transmission lines, getting our substations back online. Here we started to make our recovery effort. And we were very, very pleased to get power restored about a week earlier than what we originally had forecast. So everybody did a great effort. We were really, really pleased with all of the help we got here in the North Country, and we're very, very pleased with how things finally came together.
Is everything back to normal, or are there still things that you're having to go back out again and work on even still?
We still have some repairs that we need to be making that will take place for probably a year.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the poles that were put in now that the ground has got really soft with the flooding are starting to lean a little bit, so we'll have to go back and repair those. There's still a lot of temporary repairs that were made, just tying some of the conductors to the insulators that we'll have to go back and make some permanent repairs.
Now, there are some areas actually of the greater Adirondack region served by Niagara Mohawk that were even impacted even worse. That there is still some greater amounts of work out there still being done. I know some of our viewers are in those areas.
That's right. As we look at the overall effect of this storm, NYSEG had approximately 1,000 broken poles. Niagara Mohawk was up closer to 10,000.
Mm-hmm.
We actually had closer to 2,000 broken poles. NYMO was closer to 10,000.
So still, the impact's still out there. I mean, you still see it driving around the road, just the trees and the landscape for
right.
many years to come. We're still going to see evidence of this. But really, I think you're all going to find the video that you're about to see really a terrific production in terms of just kind of summarizing and pulling the whole story in a very visual way together. And we're happy to present it to you. So we'll let you enjoy. And if folks have any questions about this or about this program, or would like to get in touch with NYSEG, as always, give us a call here at the Chamber at 563-1000.
Thank you, Gary.